Welcome back to the Tiger Network, folks, where we have Game 2 of the series between the number 8 Texas Lutheran Bulldogs and the number 1 Trinity Tigers. This game is Game 1 of the doubleheader today. Second game scheduled to kick off at 5 p.m. I'm joined today by Sam McWhorter. Sam, let's go ahead and talk about what happened yesterday.
Well, I mean, yesterday was a really great game to watch if you're a Trinity fan. We talked before the game about how they were kind of in a win-win situation. Either they were going to step up to the plate or they were going to get punched in the mouth, and they were going to have to figure things out. And both of those things would be positive, and they stepped up to the plate in a big way. A couple of home runs really put them over the top, and a great pitching performance as well from Mark Tyndall, and it all came together for them. For the Bulldogs, control from the starter wasn't there. It was a tough game defensively. Just couldn't put it all together on offense either.
On the mound today for the Tigers, looking to follow up after that stellar start that you mentioned from Mark Tyndall yesterday, is Ian Hushin. Hushin comes in 2-2 on the season with a 3.86 ERA and 3 starts. There goes the no-hitter, folks.
fastball straight up the middle. And Clone was sitting on it.
So Thomas Warner went 1 for 4 yesterday. The Bulldogs did have a base runner in the first in the game yesterday, and then couldn't really find anything until later on in the sixth when they eventually knocked out Tyndall in the seventh. Corey Cater came in to finish it off pitching for Tigers, so he's most likely unavailable for today. Question may be a bit rattled. That first hit off him. The scoring summary from yesterday: Tigers opened it up in the first. Mason Mara the sac fly. Dallas Binder solo home run in the second, and a 2 RBI single for Jake Martin in the second as well. Michael Goodrich solo home run in the third. Logan Morrison had an RBI walk, and then the Bulldogs finally responded in the sixth with a Galvoni double down the line. Goodrich had a sac fly in the sixth, a couple in the seventh for the Bulldogs, and then a Jake Martin bomb in the eighth. Put the exclamation point on the victory yesterday. Looks like a rocky start on the mound though for the Tigers today.
Yeah, Hushin just hasn't found his spots yet, and looked pretty decent in warm-ups. He's going to get a little visit here from pitching coach and from his catcher.
Speaking of the catcher, today it's John Tucker behind the dish for the Tigers. We've seen him there a couple of times this season. They're giving Goodrich half a day off behind the plate. He'll be the DH today. And Tucker fills in that role. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think these two have a history together as the battery duo. There is some chemistry that's important between those two for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always huge if you feel comfortable with the guy you're throwing to. That just makes everything that little bit easier, and if you're not, it makes everything that little bit harder. So it's never going to make or break your game, but certainly can be the start of bad things.
The Bulldogs quickly have 2 on with nobody out here against Hushin in the first. Tigers took the early lead yesterday, as we were describing, and they never looked back. And TLU threatening to grab that early themselves as Aldoni was going to bunt, and the ball getting away from Tucker advances the runners for him. The Tigers are in some real hot water here.
Yeah, the command just not there for Hushin right now. And a little bit reminiscent of how Malinowski started yesterday's game for TLU. Just putting yourself in tough spots that you don't need to be in.
Yeah, speaking of Malinowski, he threw almost 140 pitches yesterday. The #1 starter for the Bulldogs. They left him in, tried to get him to go the whole distance, and they're unable to do so after that Jake Martin home run knocked him out of the game. Hushin yet to throw a strike here in the first.
Yeah, that's 6 straight pitches where he hasn't been close.
And this one has been hit out into the outfield. We'll see if both runners go. The throw is cut off. And the RBI single has the Bulldogs on the board first here in San Antonio. Totally different atmosphere over there in the dugout for the team wearing the yellow today. It's going to be runners on the corners as they respected the arm of Jake Martin out and right.
Yeah, not much to say about that one. And now you've got Tyler Colley, who, at least to my eyes, the best hitter in this lineup with runners on the corners. Fooled him there, though.
Tyler Colley went 1 for 3 yesterday. He was also hit by a pitch. And he's the hitter in this lineup that possesses real power. Hushin finally getting his first strike of the game there. And he's got 2 here as Colley's not seeing what his teammates have been so far.
Yeah, that was probably his best fastball of the game. That outside corner location is going to be really important for him this afternoon.
And Colley saw that one well. It's going to get over the head of the Tiger infield. And that will score 1 more for the Bulldogs. It'll be 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Hushin in some serious trouble here in the 1st.
Yeah, look at where he leaves that one.
Colley said, "Thank you very much." Hushin looking for his 1st out. He's going to face Cullen Motzinger, who went 0 for 3 yesterday, also drew a walk. He's showing bunt.
Hushin looks just a bit out of sorts with his plant foot. Just looks like he's not quite landing where he wants to be.
It's only his 3rd start of the season. He's come out of the bullpen 4 times. And that one was in there. Motzinger pulled the bunt back. No use. So the corner's playing in for the bunt. Runners on 1st and 2nd. Tigers opting to go with the maroon tops today, pinstripe pants and the maroon socks. The Bulldogs wearing the yellow, the black tops and white pants. Both teams changing it up from yesterday, making it easy on the equipment staff. This is a very different Bulldog team than we saw yesterday. Looks more like the Bulldogs of last year, as that bunt looked painful for Motzinger.
Yeah, that's the top of the foot. That's pretty close to the worst place to hit yourself with a ball.
So he's got 2 strikes. He most likely won't be showing bunt here.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the decision to bunt in the first place, to be honest with you.
Yeah, with the way the Bulldog hitters have seen the ball so far. And there, like you were saying, he drops that one out in the outfield. Meredith comes up looking to throw. Believe the bases will be loaded here.
I mean, that's a great piece of hitting.
For him to come out bunting, he only really had 1 chance to swing the bat. And he did, and he loaded the bases here with nobody gone.
Yeah, that's about as good as it gets with 2 strikes.
So Chad Curtis, who went 1 for 4 and scored a run yesterday for the Bulldogs. Is their senior first baseman. And a chance here for the infield. No, it gets through the middle. Meredith comes up swinging. And he comes up empty as 2 more come across. And it's been an excellent start here for the visiting Texas Lutheran Bulldogs.
Yeah, things have escalated really quickly.
Just the inability to even record an out here for Hushin on the mound. Bulldogs have more hits so far today than they did all of yesterday.
We're going to get another conference.
The Tiger offense averaging 7 or 8 runs a game, so it's not an insurmountable lead that's being built here in the 1st. And with the way we saw some of the Tiger hitting yesterday, could be in for a high-scoring affair. Got to get out of this inning to give the bats a chance for Ian Hushin. And here he is, the infamous Blade runner, Blade Strelsick. First-year utility player, came on to run yesterday, late on in the game, and Hushin unable to record an out today. We'll see who comes in to relieve. You know, they were scheduled to have Natoli start the second game. Maybe he's an option. Loneker didn't appear yesterday. Looks like
Matthew Thomas going to come
Thomas, he appeared in the Tuesday night matchup with Our Lady of the Lake. Recorded the win for the Tigers in that one. Had a solid outing, 3 innings. Nothing special, but he did his job. And his job here is to get the Tigers out of this first inning. He'll take some warm-ups, and we'll be right back with you as the Tigers look to regroup here on the Tiger Network. So Matt Thomas has the tall task of recording 3 outs here in the first. Ian Hushin unable to do so up to this point. Like we said, Thomas's first win recorded on Tuesday night as the bunt goes foul there for Strelsick. Strelsick, the best hitter for average on this team. He's hitting .438. He's only appeared in 10 games, 16 at bats. But in that small sample size, he's been very effective. And a chance here with 2 on for him. Nobody out. Pressure's off. Lead's already been established. And he's the first Bulldog to get a look at Matt Thomas.
Yeah, you can expect to see 2-seam fastball, some curveballs out of Matt Thomas.
If you're the Tiger bench, you just want to see strikes as the bunt goes right back up the middle. Nobody covering third. I thought the play could have been on, but with the corners playing bunt, you anticipate the third baseman fielding the ball. Instead, it was right at Thomas, essentially, as he moved to his right off the mound. But we have an out here in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, it's something. You know, Strelsick did his job, moved the runners over for Thomas, or excuse me, for Wilson. And I'm not entirely sure if that's the right play. Again, I'm not sure about the bunt with no outs and 2 men on with a reliever who's just come into the game. To me, I'm swinging, but
Cameron Wilson did not appear in yesterday's matchup. He's hitting .217 on the year, 7 starts and 10 appearances. That consists of 23 at-bats, 3 RBIs, and he's got 2 runners in scoring position here, looking to add to that season total.
there's the curve.
Had good movement on it. Saw in his warm-up. Some moved more than others. That's characteristic of any curveball, but
yeah, I think sometimes the curveball for him just has a tendency to get kind of loopy. Once he tightens up that shape, it really becomes difficult to hit, but it's a little bit easier to lay off when it's that loopy curveball that we saw there, that sort of 12-6.
And this one's hit high by Wilson. We'll see if it stays playable for the Tigers defensively. It did stay in the park, but the bench over there, I think Wisniewski was hesitant to go full force in towards that chain link fence down the left field line. It's not that you would have liked to have, but it would have taken some play from the Tiger infielder. And there's the second strike against Wilson as he fouls it off of his own leg.
Yeah, and that was the tighter breaking ball that looks a lot better. It even has a little bit of a tilt on it as well. Sort of that 1-7 movement that we sometimes talk about.
Could use a strikeout here if you're Matt Thomas, and it's going to be lined past the third baseman and down the left field line. Shamet over to field it. This will score both of the runners, and it's 6-0 for the Bulldogs here early.
I mean, that's a good piece of hitting, but man, has this been a rough start for both pitchers. I mean, maybe you're catching too much of the plate with that one, but
looks like the bats may have been left in Seguin yesterday, and they brought them today.
Forgot to buy express shipping.
Well, they've come in just in time. Here's Joe Jimenez. Jimenez grabbed an RBI single late on yesterday. Also had a couple of strikeouts. And in the series in Seguin last year, it was the Tigers who grabbed the opening game, similar to we saw yesterday. And then in the doubleheader, the Bulldogs took the day cap and the Tigers took the night cap. Interesting to see if that trend would continue across seasons. Teams have split 10 wins apiece over the last 4 years before last night when the Tigers took the lead in that respect, 11-10. Tigers come into this one on a 10-game win streak. That streak in big danger here just in the top of the first. And Tucker can't come up with that one as the pitch came in higher than expected, and Cameron Wilson takes a free base. You wonder if the decision to put Goodrich in as the DH as opposed to putting him behind the plate is just due to fatigue. I mean, he's only played one game. He played Tuesday as well. Or maybe there's some injury concern we don't know about.
Or just a possible eye towards tonight.
That as well. Tucker, no slouch behind the plate, but when you don't play there consistently, it's a completely different game.
Yeah, it can be pretty tough sometimes as we get a walk to fill up the corners.
And the Bulldogs here have batted around. So Austin Colon back up. As I realized my score sheet doesn't have room for a team to bat around. So that's problematic.
Oh, man.
Colon led off this game with a single. Of course, came around to score. A LaGrange native hitting .344 so far this season. Second baseman has the, and that one gets past the Tiger infield as well as things continue to just not go their way. That one right under the glove of Logan Morrison, who was trying to range to his left. It's a play that you see him make at times. It doesn't mean it's an easy play.
Yeah, and look at that Bulldog dugout. That's a completely different vibe from yesterday, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Almost dejected towards the middle part of yesterday. Elated in comparison today as Varner steps in with a 7-0 lead and 2 runners on. Still just 1 out. It came from the sac bunt. As this one is sent high into center field, and Meredith is able to field and make sure that the runner doesn't tag and go to third. So there's 2 down. Tigers 1 out away from getting out of this nightmare.
Thomas looked a little bit better that last at bat. If you really want to watch him and see exactly how he's faring, take a look at how he falls off to the first base side. If it's happening a lot and if it's happening big time, he's probably not executing his pitches as well. But if he's staying on plane to the plate like that, generally he's going to have better command of his pitches, and they're going to have just that little bit extra deception because he's not clearing his body out of the way.
It's Nick Gardoni, who, like a majority of the Bulldog lineup, has a single to his name and a run scored. His brought around Austin Colon, so he has an RBI as well. Only 1 extra base hit here. That was the double from Cameron Wilson. It's just been good hitting, finding the holes in the infield, dropping it in between the infield and the outfield with regularity here for the Bulldogs that have allowed them to build this lead. And that one is chopped foul, so there'll be 2 strikes here for Thomas, who's looking to get out of this inning. If you're joining us late, Ian Hushin was the starter for the Tigers, unable to record an out here in the first, and Thomas has come in relief, trying to get the job done. And there it is, the strikeout to end what ended up being a nightmarish first inning for the Tigers. They'll get their first looks at starter Dylan Merle when we come back here on the Tiger Network. It's 7-0 to the Bulldogs. So here come the Tiger hitters with a task before them. They have to face senior pitcher Dylan Morrell. Comes with a fairly unorthodox delivery for a starting pitcher. He has the low arm slot and a small leg kick as well. And that one came up near the face of Morrison. Didn't get a piece of him though. Somehow.
Ooh.
See, that's an interesting rule for me in baseball, the whole hit by pitch thing. They encourage you to get out of the way, yet you have a reward if it hits you. And in that case, he was punished for protecting himself. I guess that's just baseball. Morrison struggled yesterday, went 0 for 4 with a walk. The only Tiger hitter not to record a hit. Looking to bounce back here in a big way. And the Tigers will need to do so collectively after falling behind 7-0 in the top of the inning. This one's going to drop in front of the center fielder, and Morrison's on the board here early on.
Not quite as quick of a start as the Bulldogs had, but Tigers will take it all the same.
The numbers for Dylan Morrell. He's got a 2.39 ERA, a 3-1 record. And most remarkably, I think, a 26 strikeouts to 4 walks ratio so far this season.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Not too many hits given up either, so certainly more comfortable working with nobody on base. He'll have to work with Morrison to his left here in the first.
Yeah, I'm still kind of trying to figure him out. His delivery is a bit inconsistent. See how he looks out of the stretch here.
That one misses outside. It's Jake Martin at the plate, who was a contender for game MVP yesterday. He went 3 for 5 with a home run and 3 RBI. His home run sailing well over the left field wall. Tigers would not mind it if he could find that stroke again today. Bulldogs brought a sidearm delivery lefty yesterday out of the bullpen as Martin ropes that one down the line. This one probably won't go for extra bases. We'll see if he decided to push it for 2. He did. So it's a double here, and the Tigers have 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out. The reason I said that was I felt like the left fielder got there fairly quickly, but his throw going to third allowed Martin to advance.
That'll bring up Chalmette, who is always dangerous, especially so when he's not facing a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Although, to be honest, doesn't really matter. He hits everybody, so.
You can see that with his .426 average. Went 4 for 5 yesterday, including a big triple to lead off the 5th inning. Mason Meredith waits on deck as well. Morrell misses again. We haven't seen him pitch, but we have seen the stats, and so only 4 walks on the season would lead you to believe he has pretty solid control over his stuff. And that one's going to be fouled off by Chalmette.
Yeah, just from 11 pitches, which is very small sample size, but he looks like he's a bit of a command over control guy, if you know what I mean. He can find the strike zone. It's not necessarily that he's hitting his exact spots within it. It's just that he's keeping it in there and around. And he's able to succeed that way.
That one finds the outside corner of the plate. According to the umpire. So the 2-2 pitch, and sent high by Shamet. And looks like no play was able to be made there for the Bulldog right fielder. So Shamet stays alive. Here's a look at that one. Ended up, I think, in foul territory. Yeah, the play was really there to be made. Tyler Colley struggling maybe to see that ball. He really went too far and had to try and track back at the last moment. Shamet gets another look with 2 strikes. And that one definitively misses outside.
Shamet has been really close to barreling one up this whole at bat. He'll probably be protecting the plate still, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him uncork one.
Be a full count here. And fouls another one off to stay alive. Story for the Bulldogs, and I think the narrative will continue, is not only have they struggled with Malinowski as their number 1, they've struggled to find a consistent number 2. Morrell has a good ERA, but he's only started a couple of games. They have, I believe, 9 starters across the other 13 games that Malinowski hasn't. So finding consistency in that second day, and then today with the doubleheader as Shamet has an excellent at-bat and draws a walk to load the bases for Mason Meredith.
Your poor, poor score sheet. It's all right. I didn't want to see outs today.
So Mason Meredith, who grabbed a single late on, he also started the scoring with a sac fly in the first. Yesterday, fly ball would score a run, but the Tigers need a bit more than 1, find themselves down 7 here. Love to see their center fielder, who's hit extremely well so far this season, find one here, but he's fallen behind in the count.
2 straight breakers, just eating him up.
It's an excellent pitch there from Morrell, and he's 0-2.
They're giving him that edge.
Meredith stays alive. Thought that was one that looked hittable for the center fielder.
Yeah, there's a clear plan here, though. You're going to see some breaking pitches.
Yeah, obviously with the bases loaded, we've got a couple of pitches to give. Don't want to give him anything hittable. You also can't walk him. As there's another one, 2 straight off the leg. Meredith doesn't appear phased.
I was really hoping he was going to go full Lance McCullers, but decided to dial up a fastball. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him go straight back to the breaking ball after changing the speeds up.
Here is the 0-2 offering, and a really good breaking ball. Like you predicted, has Meredith down on strikes. First out recorded for Morrell here in the first.
Yeah, he just didn't seem to be seeing it out of the hand that well.
Brings up Michael Goodrich, who had a big solo home run yesterday. Could bring all 3 of them home with another one of those strokes today. He's hitting .352. He's got 4 shots out of the park so far.
Can't tempt me like that.
Clearing the bases here. We'll put the Tigers back in this one, as the breaking pitch continues to find the strike zone. Umpire seems to be a fan of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Goodrich also added another RBI with a sac fly yesterday. Again, anything to the outfield gets the Tigers at least on the board. But Morrell, with his back against the wall, the bases loaded, he's done nothing but find the strike zone. And second straight at bat that he's 0-2 in front. And surprised the umpire didn't decide to ring him up there with the way he's been giving the corner of the plate.
Yeah, that's a risky take, the way this game has been called so far.
So the first 3 batters for the Tigers are out there on first, second, and third. And it's Goodrich who's tasked with trying to bring them home. The Tiger catcher fouls this one off. Stays alive, making Morrell work. That was his 25th pitch of the first. They need to punish him with runs after the way the top of this inning went. And that one's going to be a double play ball for Goodrich, but he beat it out. Did well to keep the inning alive. Also will score the first runner. I think that running from Goodrich is huge. We'll see if it was the right call. Yes, it was. Catcher not usually a position where you'd expect to see some speed, but Goodrich showed well getting out of the box there.
Yeah, he's sneaky athletic.
DH today is now standing on first. And Jake Martin waits on third as well.
Yeah, it looks like to me Morrell is a lot more comfortable working when he's able to get that big spine tilt on the leg kick. When he's not able to bring it up quite as high, it looks like he's just a little bit shuddery to the plate. Doesn't quite have the same command.
So Brandon Caraway, the one change to the Tiger lineup, he comes in for Blake Johnson today. Johnson the DH yesterday, and with some shuffling defensively for the Tigers, they've opted to go with Caraway over at first. That one comes in low.
Yeah, it just changes his delivery when he's not able to do that. Arm slot dips a little bit lower, becomes a little bit more of a crossfire delivery.
Caraway hitting .250 on the season, a couple of RBI. Chance to add to it here with Martin waiting on third base. And now be a 2-2-2 here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Tigers number 3. Looks like he's only button 3 on his shirt. And that one comes inside. That's ball 3. And the count runs full. Runners will be taking off with 2 outs. Which creates an interesting dynamic in terms of a pass ball. Anything of that nature.
I think you're right. I think it is only 3. It's a lot of chest.
And
a lot of discipline.
Pitch that could have gone either way goes in favor of the Tigers, and the bases are loaded once again. Caraway does well to draw the walk. And Dallas Bender, another Tiger who had a big home run yesterday, gets a chance with the bases loaded. He went 2 for 4. A couple of strikeouts and a home run.
I just get the feeling that somebody's going to crank one on a liner. Something like a double. They're just seeing the fastball too well right now.
It's been the off-speed pitch that has kept Morrell out in front, usually in the count. And there's another example of that. Wisniewski awaits on deck for the Tigers. They'd love if he could get an opportunity here after a Dallas Bender hit. That one Misses the target that was already set up outside. If Morrell retires Bender here, it's been a mammoth effort to get out of the first, but he would have done extremely well. Instead, Bender puts that one out into right field, and it comes off the wall. The grand slam was just probably a yard away. Either way, it's an RBI double for Dallas Bender, and that puts the Tigers back in this one. How close was that to bringing all of them home, including himself?
Man, that's tight.
That went 360 feet. But the Tigers grab a couple more runs on the Dallas Bender RBI double. He continues to be hot at the plate.
Yeah, and as we get a little bit of a mound visit here, you could just kind of feel that it was coming. They were seeing the fastball pretty well. It wasn't hitting the zone quite as much as it needed to be hitting the zone. And that breaking ball is nice, but it's not upper echelon, and so when you're tasked with having to throw it so many times and not being able to play the fastball over it, you miss one out over the plate, and bang, all of a sudden, you're in a pretty bad position.
Still in a bad position here, despite the 2 outs. Jack Wisniewski's hitting .304, 10 RBI so far this season. He's been hot recently as well. Yesterday was 1 for 4 with a walk. And a chance to really get the Tigers back in the game. If he can bring his teammates home here, it'd be 7-5.
Yeah, we mentioned at the top of the inning, don't count these Tigers out. It doesn't really matter how far down they are. They have a really good offense.
Yeah, 1 through 9, and the bench as well. There's players that aren't starting today that are hitting over 300. And I'm sure head coach Tim Scannell likes to go to his bench a couple of times offensively every game. There should be a play on here for the Bulldogs, and they do get out of the inning as Wisniewski grounds out to second base. The Tigers do respond, though. A big RBI double from Dallas Bender has them within arm's reach. It's 7-3 here on the Tiger Network heading into the second inning. So coming back out to bat with a 7-3 lead now is Tyler Cawley. Matt Thomas still on the mound through 23 pitches to get out of that first inning that the Tigers would love to forget. Cawley, one of a majority of the Bulldog lineup with an RBI single to his name from the first inning.
It's been a long time ago now, but Thomas was really starting to find his rhythm at the end of last inning. Seen a couple of good deliveries from him and a couple of bad deliveries from him so far. This could kind of go either way for him.
He's behind in the count, 3-1 here. And Tyler Colley has ripped this one down towards the bullpen bench for the Tigers in foul territory.
That's the delivery you want to see from him, though. When he stays on that front leg, stays on direction to home plate, generally the results are a little bit better than when he falls off like he does there.
And he falls off big time, and he loses a 3-2 count over to first base with the hit batsman.
Yeah, watch his plant foot here. See how he just doesn't have the balance on it? He's already tilted as it comes down. That's why you have so much trouble commanding, because your release point isn't consistent.
It's a struggle for consistency that is so common amongst pitchers. And it's Motzinger, and the leaping attempt from Wisniewski. He got his full glove on it, and he didn't come down with the ball. Would have been a terrific play from the Tigers shortstop.
9/10 of a web gem. So close.
Instead, it's 2 on, no out here once again for the Bulldogs. So they look like they're still in the mood offensively.
Okay.
And another sacrifice there. This time it was Chad Curtis who was effective in moving the runners. Almost beat it out. It was a close play over at first. Thomas made sure to check third. Here's Blade Strelsick, the man with the other sacrifice last inning. But the Tigers have an out here in the second. Much quicker than they were able to get one in the first.
It's mound conference time. Doo-doo, doo-doo.
It's the fourth time we've seen mound visit for Tigers. This time it's head coach Tim Scannell, so the ball will stay with Matt Thomas.
You never want the big boy coming out there for you.
Big boy is a term of endearment for Coach Scannell, who is pretty much always looking up to his pitcher here.
Come on, let's go. The last couple of words of that meeting.
Thomas against Strelsick here. Strelsick hitting extremely well this season in a limited sample size. He's a first-year player listed as utility, starting in left field today. We saw him come in to pinch run yesterday. He has some real speed. Wouldn't shock me if he's able to, be the type to push what's normally a single into a double, especially with the concern for the runners coming home. And the mound visit hasn't exactly inspired Thomas. He's behind 3-0 in the count.
Yeah, we don't have eyes on the bullpen, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody is at least starting to warm up.
Finds the strike zone that time. Strelsick certainly did not have the green light. And there's another one in there for a strike, so
It was a meatball.
yeah, the batter just daring Thomas to throw a strike. And he's lived up to it twice. He hit the batter the last time he had a 3-2 count. And this time the batter, it's a slow ground ball, and that's, like we talked about, the speed of Blade Strelsick is going to make that pretty much an impossible play to make. He's hit it just soft enough to where there was no play.
Yeah, Bender had to go for the bare hand there, and that's just a really tough play to make. Blade Runner comes up big.
So the Bulldogs on the board once again here in the second. Cameron Wilson had the only extra base hit of the first inning. Big double. Brought home a couple of his teammates. Foul ball comes off of his foot. You see Strelsick was going. And what was probably a hit and run situation, at least with the runner at first. Motzinger still waiting on third.
Oof.
And Thomas has to be very careful and find the glove of John Tucker behind the dish. The runner lurking ominously over there at the third base. Here he is with a 2-1 pitch, and instead he'll go and check on the Blade Runner. Isn't it exciting? We've got 4 years of being able to call this man the Blade Runner.
I just honestly can't wait. Probably enjoying it too much now.
That one comes in high for Thomas.
Yeah, he just looks like he's not quite got the confidence right now.
Wilson's double was off Thomas in the first. He drops one in there for a strike. And the interesting dynamic is added by this game being game one of a doubleheader. You can't run through the whole bullpen. You have to have options. James Natoli, the likely starter for game two. You know, you have other options that you'd like to save for later on in the game as well. And looks like, really looked like they had him there.
Yeah, let's get
He
this
was
replay.
leaning left. And he's just snuck under the tag.
Oh.
Caraway unable to block the bag with the glove. It was a good move from Thomas on the mound. Caught Strelsick leaning. And the big throw across gets Wilson, and there's 2 outs here. It was well done from Bender over at third to make sure the runner didn't advance.
That's a big throw.
So second, third, and 2 outs. Joe Jimenez to the plate. Motzinger and Strelsick on second and third. And the freshman shortstop who drew a walk in the first. Has a quick lead in the count here, 1-0. Some of the best movement we've seen on a pitch from Thomas as we get another look at the fact that Strelsick did just get in time. Excellent camera work there to catch it with the zoom. Thomas's pitches are moving a bit more. It's just, are they moving too much, more than he expects, more than he is able to control? It's 2-1 here. As surely that's 2 buttons for Thomas.
I mean, that's cleavage. That's maybe too far.
Have to be careful not to get this age restricted on YouTube. Come on, Maddie.
It'd still be okay on Tumblr.
Yep, there it is. Well done, umpire. Nobody needed to see that.
I mean, I
All
wasn't gonna
5 buttons
say,
now in full effect from
I
Mike
wasn't
Thomas
gonna
on
say
that.
anything if you weren't gonna say anything.
How
But I
could
think
you
we
not?
were all thinking it.
As he misses, and Jimenez has his second walk of the game here in the second. Thomas has the bases loaded here, but he just needs 1 out. Austin Colon, not the man he wants to see. And it's not the man that he will see. There's going to be a replacement here for Thomas. It's number 14 coming in for the Tigers. So that one missed outside.
Arjun Thakar coming in.
We'll let him get some warm-up pitches. And we'll be right back with you as the third Tiger pitcher takes the mound here in the second inning. So coming in to relieve here in the second is first-year pitcher Arjun Thacker. The Sugar Land, Texas native makes his 5th appearance of the season, yet to give up an earned run in those 4 appearances.
This guy can throw gas. It's just a matter of whether it lands in the strike zone or not.
Austin Colon will be the first to get a look at it, and he was way out in front of the off-speed pitch. That's bold from the first year coming in, offering up something that, Colon probably wasn't expecting. He was sitting on the fastball.
Up in the zone, too.
And that one's in there for a quick 0-2 count. Thacker comes in with the bases loaded, and the game in danger of getting out of hand if Colon's able to maybe put one in the gap.
Maybe he's the guy. You gotta have one.
And that one's fouled off as Thacker is no nonsense here, attacking the hitter. Two for 2 on the day so far for Colon. He steps out. And the 2 number 14s resume their battle here. And that one's launched right up the middle as Colon is now 3 for 3. And what's already a massive day for the Bulldogs second baseman, and we are not out of the second inning. It's a party atmosphere in the dugout for the Bulldogs. As Thacker took a bold approach, he decided he was going to attack the hitter, and that's the risky run. So 2 more runs come across, and it's double digits for TLU already. And my score sheet is beyond any hope. As we come back to Thomas Varner. Varner flew out in the second and had a walk in the first, so make it 0 for 1.
Varner struggled a bit this season. Not up to his standards.
1-1 for the big right-hander on the mound, listed at 6'4", 225, so maybe a freshman, but he is a grown man on the mound. As Tucker's throw down here. Have to be careful with the runner on third.
I mean, that's bold, but it's such a late jump. You want to be nailing that if you're the catcher.
Austin Colon feeling it, and why shouldn't he be?
Wow.
Will this one stay fair? No, it was hit 300 feet down the line by Varner. Looked really good coming off the bat. Luckily for the Tigers, stayed foul.
Yeah, that's some of the best contact I've seen Varner make all weekend.
Number 9 for the Bulldogs stands in. 2 strikes here, 2 outs for Arjun Thacker. And this one should be playable for Wisniewski. Throw across, and the Tigers get out of the inning. And the score stands at 10-3 after the Bulldogs post 3 more here in the top of the second. The Tigers will have Tucker, Morrison, and Martin due up when we return here on Tiger Network. And first pitch swinging is John Tucker, and he flies out to center field to start out the second inning. As characteristic of John Tucker, he usually does come out swinging.
You gotta have morals in this game, you know? Gotta be consistent.
And Logan Morrison, who started out the game well offensively for the Tigers, had a single and came around to score. And he's been hit. Takes that one on the thigh and walks on over to first. Total loss of control there for Morrell. And Arelli has to start with a man on. Tigers have that. In need of 7 runs to draw level with their conference foes here. It's the second game of SCAC play for the Bulldogs. Game number 5 for the Tigers, who boast a 4-0 record coming into this one. Martin takes fastball on the inside corner of the plate there. Jake Martin had a big double out into left field in the first inning. He also went 3 for 5 yesterday, so he's the man the Tigers went up at the plate. The other man waiting on deck is Rafe Shamet. As Martin Once again, hits it out into center field. Very playable.
Motzinger, not a lot to do there.
Yeah, just had to stand there and reach up and grab it. So Martin is retired. Shamet comes to the plate with a man on first and 2 out.
Yeah, sometimes even when you're seeing the ball well, like it seems like the Tigers are so far, your contact isn't going to be perfect. And that's just been the unfortunate circumstance so far. Been able to get contact, get balls in the air. Just a little bit off, though. And I think part of that is just Merle being so deceptive with his delivery.
Fouled off that time by Shamet. If you look through the Tigers' schedule so far this season, this is only the second time they've given up double-digit runs. The first was in a disaster averted against Endicott back on February 23rd when they gave up 7 runs in the last 3 innings, but managed to hold on 14-12 winners. So definitely a new situation for the Tigers being down this big early. We'll see how they're able to handle it as Shamet puts this one out into the gap, and that one's going to one-hop the wall. We'll see what Morrison's able to do with that as a Rafe Shamet double. He stays hot as this one was not far away from being out of here either.
Yeah, that was just a touch toward the end of the bat. If that one's closer to the center of the barrel, that's out of here. Beautiful piece of hitting from Shamet, though, protecting that outside part of the plate where Merle had been going at him.
So Morrison was forced to hold up at third, and the Tigers are relying on Mason Meredith to bring the 2 runners in scoring position home. The junior struggled so far in this series. That could turn around here with 1 hit. Get the Tigers back within touching distance of the Bulldogs' lead.
Merle has not had the spin on those last 2 breaking balls. Something to watch. Left them both high.
Left that one inside, in danger of putting Meredith on the open first base bag. If I'm Morrell, I'm not giving Meredith anything to hit here. Surprised they haven't opted to maybe just put him on with a 3-0 count. Instead, they find the strike zone. So it comes to 3-1 for the Tigers center fielder. And now the count runs full, so runners will be in motion. Shamet's speed, you'd already fancy him to score from second on a single. Now you especially would if it finds the outfield. Big pitch here from Morrell. And it's sent out into center field, and the side is going to be retired by Motzinger. He had to move maybe a total of 5 yards to record the 3 outs, and the Tigers leave 2 on base, and the lead stays at 7 as we head back to the top of the inning for the 3rd. be Gardoni to lead off against Arjun Thacker, still out there in relief. As we take a look around the SCAC, yesterday there was a matchup between Austin College, a doubleheader, and Southwestern. Southwestern came out 13-9 and 5-4 victors. Of course, the game here, Trinity took 8-3, and Dallas on top against Centenary 10-4. Today, also plenty of action around the conference. Schreiner beats University of Chicago in a non-conference affair 5-2. Southwestern absolutely demolishes Austin College 14-3. 14 hits there. Plenty of left on base for Austin College. They had 9 hits. It's the bottom of the 7th between Dallas and Centenary, as this one's going to be playable for the Tigers defensively, and they get the first out of the inning. Bottom of the 7th, it's 5-5 between Dallas and Centenary. So one to keep your eye on there. And of course 10-3 here in San Antonio. Where Tyler Colley gets his first look at the Tiger reliever. It's a very different pitcher than either Hushin or Thomas. Seems to be a bit more reliant on the fastball and throwing it past the hitter, which he can do. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a pretty standard delivery, all in all. Over the top. He'll throw a breaking ball in there every once in a while, mostly just to keep you off balance, but really this is a fastball-heavy reliever profile.
And that one just foul, as Colley nearly hooked that one down the line. He had a single in the first and was hit by a pitch in the second. Came around to score both occasions. As that one's in there for called strike 3, as Thacker looks to keep this rhythm going. He's retired the first 2 batters here in the 3rd. Brings up Colin Motzinger. Fresh off 3 straight outs recorded at the bottom of the 2nd. Houston, Texas native has been very close to being 0 for 2. Instead, he's 2 for 2. His 2 balls hit within playable range for the Tiger infielders, but they've been hit hard and made it difficult for both Morrison and Wisniewski to retire the center fielder. That one finds the outside corner, and it's 1-2.
This would be huge to get out of this inning quickly.
And that one takes a bounce off the mound. It'll take a big effort from Wisniewski here. And we'll get another look at that one. He did well to field it, get the clean transfer to the throwing hand. The big hop off the mound.
Yeah, that's safe.
Put him in a
Just
bad
barely,
position. Here it is.
I mean, that is real tight. But
Bang, bang. Call for the umpire there. Well done to him for getting it correct. And Chad Curtis now stands in. And ball just snuck away from Tucker, and I really think the Bulldogs feel comfortable running right now on the base pass. They've got a big lead, and they know Tucker isn't the daily catcher for Tim Scannell's team.
yeah, and ever since Cologne wasn't caught, you have to think it's in the back of their mind every time now.
Chad Curtis now with a 2-0 count. He has a RBI single and a sac bunt. Comes in high, so it's 3-0 for Thacker now. Looked like he was cruising along. And he's now put himself in a precarious situation with the runner on second.
Sometimes all it takes is one bad at bat.
That one finds the outside corner well.
Remains to be seen if that's the case here, but always look for a confidence check-in after things like that.
Check in with the runner, and he gets the swing and the miss from Chad Curtis there. Count runs full, 2 outs. So Motzinger will be in motion. Center fielder is fleet-footed. And a chance for the Tigers to get out of an inning with relative ease here, as the payoff pitch comes in low and also gets away from John Tucker. Really worst case scenario there as the runner advances and he takes first base.
Well, it's back to the Blade Runner.
Here he is. Chance with the runners on the corners. Strelsick, first year, has a sac bunt and a single. Certainly a guy you could see leading off for the Bulldogs within a year or two. Has that profile. He's hitting extremely well for average. Gets on base and is extremely quick. He's quickly out in front 2-0 here against Thacker, as the 2 first years lock horns in this at bat. And again, that one misses high, so second straight 3-0 count for the Tiger reliever.
Yeah, and we saw earlier in this game that Strelsick didn't have the green light, so I doubt he has it here.
Not sure why he hesitated to go take his free base. It's a 4-pitch walk for Thacker, who's gone from what looked like it was going to be smooth sailing to the choppiest of waters. Its bases loaded and 2 outs for Cameron Wilson. Already has an RBI double in this one. Also grounded out to Dallas Bender. And the profile on Thacker coming into this one was a guy that they feel like has extreme potential but puts too many guys on base, and that's exactly what we've seen since he's come in. As this one comes well off the backstop. And we'll get another look at perhaps what happened there. Thought the plate could have been on for Tucker after it took a good bounce off the brick. The flip to Thacker was nowhere near in time. It was just a good jump from Motzinger. Talks about how quick he is as well. And the lead's extended once again here in the third.
Yeah, that's self-inflicted damage. And that's really been the story this inning for Thacker. That's hit well.
Is hit well. Looks like Shamet feels confident, and he brings it in. The Tigers will be batting again here behind the 8 when we come back for the bottom of the third on the Tiger Network. So Dylan Morrell still out there in the third. No surprise. He's been effective, maybe not efficient so far for the Bulldogs, but he's working with an 8-run cushion. Pitcher's dream. No doubt. He's got to face Michael Goodrich here, who's 0 for 1. Swung right through that one. Took a big cut. Goodrich reached on a fielder's choice and came around to score in the first. And he's teed this one up, but he's got under it, and the play should be made and is by Strelsick out and left. So there's 3 flyouts in the second, and we start off the third with another, this one of the left field variety. Brandon Caraway walked back in the first, so Tigers would appreciate a base runner here, working from behind. Plenty of time left in this game. I feel like if the Tigers can chip away at the lead and find some consistency on the pitching side of things, it's not out of reach.
No, certainly not. And, you know, the great thing about baseball is that there's always time for a comeback. You could be down 11-3 in the ninth, and it's still possible. Time is not a limiting factor here.
Tigers have hit double digits 6 times so far in 20 games. They've scored more than 11 twice. And that's the second walk so far for Caraway. And Dallas Bender, who's one of the hottest bats in the Tiger lineup right now, cannon the ball off the wall, was a couple of feet away from a grand slam in the first. Did have a home run yesterday over that same wall.
Yeah, and Merle now going to have to be working out of the stretch as well, which he's typically not as comfortable out of.
That one finds the outside corner of the plate. Bender down to 0-2 here in the count. His double also came on a 2-strike pitch, though. Throw down to first, check on Caraway. He's familiar with that bag. Plays there defensively today for the Tigers. And Bender takes a big cut, and the movement had him fooled. And Morrell's 61st pitch retires the Tigers' third baseman.
That is one of the best breaking balls Merle has thrown all day, and it came in a huge spot.
So Wisniewski is tasked with trying to keep this inning alive for the Tigers. The left-handed batting shortstop is hitting .300 on the dot this season. He's 0 for 1 today. Was 1 for 4 yesterday. And looks like the rain may have started here. It was cloudy, 75 degrees for first pitch here, and now in danger of perhaps even further delay of the game. As it starts to come down, the clouds that we expected to be there now bring rain with them as Wisniewski fouls this one off. sun is out, and looks like the rain has come with it. We have the softball game in front of us on the monitor, and looks like there's no rain. That's across the building, essentially. As this one is going to be flipped to second, and they get Caraway to in the inning. So Wisniewski unable to extend a potential rally here in the third. So the Tigers will take the mound here in just a moment on the Tiger Network. Is it raining?
Arjun Thakar back on the mound for this one. He'll face Joe Jimenez. Thakar looked to have it under control last inning, at least for a brief spell, and then ran into some self-inflicted damage. If you're just joining us, well, I'm sorry. It's been a lot. This one hit well into right field. Looks like Martin has it, and he does. Nice sliding catch. We'll get another look at that one, hopefully. Probably made it look a little bit harder than it had to be, but here it is. Little fly ball. He's playing very deep there, so he had to rush in. Good play, and Thakar gets a good start to this inning, and he needed one after last inning. 11-3 is the score. TLU has slowed down in recent innings, but has still been good. This one knocked into center field, and I believe Meredith has it. He does. So 2 quick flyouts here for Thakar. And he's rolling through this inning.
Yeah, we saw him grab 2 quick outs to start the third as well before the sea became a bit rough for him.
And that is not what you want to see after 2 outs.
Yeah, we mentioned the softball game earlier in reference to the weather. Team also matching up with TLU, and they're in danger of being swept here. They dropped the first game last night, dropped the opener of the doubleheader today 9-1, and they're behind once again in the second inning over at the softball field. And this nefarious rain appears to be something out of the Truman Show. Just dropping it in whenever it wants. Classic film. Watched that last night. It's a good way to spend the Friday night after a Tiger victory. And there's the third fly out for the Tigers as Arjun Thacker makes quick work of the Bulldogs in the fourth, and we'll see if the Tigers can build on that momentum offensively coming out here for the bottom of the inning. Weather continues to be deceptive here as the sun has come out in full force for John Tucker's at bat. We'll see what it's up to when Morrison comes up next. Morrell is still out there on the mound working with an 8-run lead.
That's Tucker, a nice place to be.
Yeah, Tucker flew out to center field back in the second, and he's managed to restrain himself from first pitch swinging here. And looks like it's going to be a similar result as a good play is made battling the sun there. It was Motzinger. You see how bright it is. And he was looking right up into the sun as he came up with it at the last minute. Bit of good fortune there for the Bulldogs.
Take that, Jake Martin.
Here comes Logan Morrison, who has a hit and a walk today. The leadoff man looks to get something going here in the fourth. First pitch swinging, and the center fielders continue to be busy here. All kinds of flyouts in the last couple innings on both sides. After, I think, half of the pitches that Morrell's thrown came in the first inning, he started to find a pretty healthy pitch per inning count. It was about 35 to get out of that first. Only just now getting towards the 70 mark.
I still feel like somebody's going to barrel one up.
See, you have to be more specific in putting in the call. You have to be more committal. Here's Sam. Is it going to be Jake Martin this time?
Yes.
And he finds the gap there towards the 365 sign, and the Tiger right fielder continues an excellent series for himself at the plate. Rafe Shamet, another one that's having a tremendous series so far. He's 5 for 6 with a walk across the 2 games. So could the Tigers have something brewing here with 2 outs?
Shamet has also been pretty close several times today. Almost hit a home run out to left center. He's seeing the ball well today, although I guess when isn't he seeing the ball well?
This one is sent out to the left fielder, and he made solid contact, but is right at Strelsick, who shows off his impressive pace running back towards the dugout. And he flips it towards the mound. The Tigers continue to be down by 8 here as they come out and take the field for the 5th inning.
Thacker throws his 43rd.
He's out there for his third inning of work. The third pitcher the Tigers have gone with in this matchup. First game of a doubleheader. It was Ian Hushin and Matt Thomas who struggled early, and since Thacker gave up a 2-run single, he's been relatively effective. Had a big fourth inning, which the Bulldogs went 1-2-3. Nick Gardoni is 1 for 3. See, he dribbles that one down into foul territory. Now, a positive that could come from this game is you're getting one of your freshman pitchers that you feel like has real potential to come out of the bullpen for you in the long run. He's getting minutes against a quality team in TLU, and he's shown his quality as well. As that one gets past Tucker. Maybe he starts to work his way back into contention for getting out of the bullpen in closer games. And if not, well, he's got experience against the top team.
Yeah, for him it's all about control, and one thing that does help with that is reps, especially live reps, so you're absolutely right there. He looks just a little bit tighter these last couple of innings as that one gets fouled off. I just have the feeling that he's finding a little bit more confidence in himself.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the state of the scoreline at the moment, the pressure is really off of him. It's go out there and get outs, and that's really it. If the Tigers start to mount a comeback offensively, then maybe he'll start to feel a certain type of way out there on the mound. And a really close call there goes in favor of the Bulldogs, as
Doesn't matter.
Gardoni eventually does go down on strikes, and sums it up really there as they try to throw down and get it around the horn. It goes past Dallas Bender out into the outfield. But Thacker continues an excellent spree here of 4 straight outs recorded. Brings up Tyler Cawley, who's 1 for 2. Was also hit by a pitch, scored 2 runs. And he's made solid contact there, but he's hooked it foul.
It was actually a good job changing up speeds, getting him out in front of it.
Yeah, location was a problem there, but with the change in speed, it worked out. Here he comes with an 0-2 delivery, and he gets a second straight strikeout. So there are 2 gone quickly here in the 5th.
Man, Cawley goes fencing on this one. Watch this. Yep. About to get in a sword fight.
Brings up Colin Motzinger, who is 3 for 3. And he's also flashed the leather a bit defensively. So he's had an excellent game so far. Plenty of time to add to it. 3 singles, 3 runs scored, some RBIs in there as well. Somehow actually no RBIs in there. He's come around to score all 3 times.
Selfish.
It's a harsh assessment of the sophomore's performance as Thacker gets a ground ball here. It'll be a tough play for Bender. He gets the transfer to the throwing hand, and it was beat out by Motzinger. Be another one where we'll get the slow motion replay of it up for you shortly. And I think Does he touch the bag?
Just barely. But man, that is
Yeah.
right on the edge.
Tie goes to the runner there, I guess, for Motzinger, and he is 4 for 4. If the trend continues, then he'll come around to score. It'll be Chad Curtis. We'll have to do it for him. Curtis has a sack bunt. Was hit by a pitch and singled back in the first.
I like that Thacker doesn't look bothered here. Just got straight back up on the mound, still working quickly. Look at him, he's ready. I didn't get that sense a couple innings ago.
And he gets his man down on strike. So Arjun Thacker comes out and strikes out the side. The Tiger first-year pitcher finding some rhythm on the mound. We'll see if the Tigers can find any rhythm with their bats when we come back here for the bottom of the fifth. Welcome back here on the Tiger Network for the bottom of the fifth. We hope you're enjoying your Saturday. The sun's out here in San Antonio, and we'd like to thank Lynn Turner for allowing this broadcast to be possible here with her generous donations throughout the years. Mason Meredith leads off here for the Tigers. He's quickly ahead in the count 2-0.
Big cut.
Yeah, big cut for a man who's struggled the last couple of games. He's cooled down since spring break, and he's found a gap here to start the inning. So perhaps something in the making here in the bottom of the fifth as they have the leadoff runner on.
Stumbled out of the box, but got the job done nonetheless.
So Goodrich comes up to the plate now. He's 0 for 2. He came around to score a run back in the first. Tigers haven't scored since the first inning. It's the first game of a doubleheader here on the Tiger Network. The softball team grabbed a couple of runs to draw within 4 across campus. They're also in a doubleheader with TLU, looking to split it here in game 2. As Goodrich stands in. Morrell in the high 70s for a pitch count. He has 1 complete game on his stat sheet, although it was in a 7-inning matchup earlier in the season, so you can call it a complete game if you like. See, I think Goodrich has done well here. He's opted maybe 3 buttons, but he's got the undershirt.
Yeah, you
And I
got to have
think
your backup plan.
Matt Thomas could take notes, as we saw earlier on.
That was a pretty tight play at first.
Seen quite a few bang-bang plays, both on pickoff moves and people trying to run out infield hits. Umpire's done well. I think he's got everything right so far.
One thing I love about Goodrich is his posture at the plate. He's very balanced. He's down in a little bit of a squat, but he's not overdoing it. He's just in a good position to put some power off of his back leg and swing through on plane. Keeps his hands low at the start, but as the pitch comes, gets him set a little bit higher. It's just a really solid fundamental swing.
He has better posture at bat than I do just sitting in a chair.
Ditto on that.
Tiger number 22 is only a junior. He's been contributing for a couple of years now for this Tiger team. I feel extremely confident having him as their go-to man behind the dish.
Merle is determined to get the man at first.
He didn't get the call there. It wasn't far away from strike 3 for the man on the mound. Again, another throw over. He's certainly thrown more over there to check on Mason Meredith than he has come home in this at bat.
Maybe in this inning.
With an 8-run lead, it's interesting that he's so preoccupied with just the one runner. As he goes upstairs and Goodrich is fooled. He swings through it, and there's one down here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, I think Goodrich was sitting breaking ball there. I think you can tell from his reaction he was just fooled.
So Caraway comes into this at bat with 2 walks, and every base runner counts at this point for the Tigers. So his good eye at the plate could prove very useful here.
Yeah, you're not looking to get it back all in one inning, but you got to start chipping away at some point.
And was that one touched in fair territory? It was. So there'll be runners on the corners, as that was an interesting play, to say the least, for TLU defensively. Chad Curtis coming in on it, and I think it was going foul.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Maybe just
because it's on the line there.
not willing to take a chance was the first baseman. Either way, he touched it in fair territory, so it was a fair ball. And there's runners on the corners here, which is the 1 out.
Thinking that Merle is not in much danger of being pulled here, but if a run comes across the plate, I think that has to be the thought that starts getting in your head.
Dallas Bender had a big RBI double in the first inning. A double here would bring home at least 1. He's had a great start to this TLU series with the home run yesterday as well. It was a hit and run on, and a good slide from Caraway, and the run comes home from third. Mason Meredith reaches on, I think, what will go down as either a throwing error or not quite sure, but he reaches home nonetheless.
Yeah, and that's the important thing. Runner was going all the way.
I think it's a ball that maybe Cologne should come up with there.
Yeah, I think he could have done a little bit better, but
So the Tigers put one up on the board for the first time since the first inning.
not how you drew it up, but you'll take it.
Still plenty of time to chip away at the lead if Arjun Thacker continues on the mound as he has been recently. No reason to think that the Tigers can't inch their way back into this one. Time called there before the pitch was thrown. Talus Binder's stance much more resembles how I sit in the chair. As he bends over and arches the back a little bit differently than Goodrich, his teammate.
That's a man who does his squats, though, you can tell. You have to when you're in that position all the time.
Part of the reason why he can drive the ball so well.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of a sort of a Bagwell situation. If you ever watched the old Astros.
Chopped towards the shortstop, and there's two down, but he advances the runner here. So Wisniewski comes up to the plate with a runner on third. Chance to perhaps get the lead down to 6.
Probably not what Bender wanted, but again, like we said, just got to start chipping away. You know, it doesn't matter if you're still down by a lot at the end of this inning, as long as you're closer than you were when you started it. That's your only goal right now.
Wisniewski first pitch swinging, and it's not going to pay dividends here as the throw comes in plenty of time to first base, but the Tigers do grab one run back. The lead cut to 7, and Arjun Thacker takes the mound for the top of the 5th when we come back. So Blade Strelsick leads off here against Arjun Thacker, who bounces the first pitch in. Struck out the side in the 5th and got 3 flyouts in the 4th. See if he can continue that rhythm against the San Antonio native, who makes solid contact but launches it right at Rafe Shamet, who looks cool, calm, and collected there, bringing that one in. Cameron Wilson batted 3 times in the first 3 innings. This is his first at-bat since. Bulldogs hold a 7-run lead after a 7-run first inning explosion against a combination of Ian Hushin and Matt Thomas. Thacker came in to relieve in the 2nd inning, and he's been fairly effective since. That one bounces in as I say that. And the count runs to 3-0. Tigers grab 3 back in the bottom of the first and 1 just a minute ago in the bottom of the 5th. And a 4-pitch walk is not exactly how you want to start the inning if you were the man on the mound for the Tigers.
No, I mean, you get your fly out and then you give up a walk. That's fine, but, I mean, you've allowed contact and then you've had 4 bad pitches. So as much as it comes out looking 50-50, it's really not a super successful start, like you mentioned. And now you have to face Jimenez, who has shown good bat-to-ball skills at least.
He's got a couple of walks today as well, so good eye at the plate. Watches that one go by for a strike. Flew out to the sliding Jake Martin back in the 4th. As that one misses and the count runs even. Talk about the 2018 campaign for the Bulldogs. Jimenez is a freshman who, would have watched as a recruit the team that he's going to play for next season, make a run all the way to Appleton. He's trying to replace Eric Rabinowitz, who was a 4-year contributor at the shortstop position. This one hacked foul by Joe Jimenez. Riley Chauffeur, Dylan Dragic, among other names that leave big shoes to be filled for the Bulldogs. Yesterday it looked like they weren't quite up to the task. Today, very much the opposite, as they exploded early on and haven't looked back since. There's just so many psychological dynamics when you're coming off the best season in school history, especially for a freshman like that, as he goes down swinging.
Yeah, he's not going to want to watch that one back on video.
He obviously has something about him if he's starting for a team of this caliber as a freshman.
Yeah, he's certainly got some skills, and you can see it just from his stats. An over 900 OPS without a ton of power. That's pretty good.
Speaking of pretty good, 3 for 4 for Austin Colon so far today. But he's going to bat with 2 outs here, looking to extend the top of the 6th for the Bulldogs.
Thacker is getting some swings low in the zone. Looks like that fastball might just have a little bit of unexpected run on it when it's down there. It's looking good.
Yeah, 3 RBIs for Cologne so far, 1 run scored as well. And he's down in the count 0-2 as Thacker looks to get out of this inning. And that one's fouled out. Cologne stays alive. 2 number 14s clash once again.
You went high with that pitch, changed eye levels. Now I say you go back to low pitch, see if you can get that swing and miss again.
First time Cologne came up against Thacker, he flew out to Meredith. He does go low, but he misses low.
Worth a shot.
And
wow.
The big curveball comes in, drops in the plate, and Cologne will head back to his dugout. Get one last look at the movement on that one from Thacker. He's been extremely effective over the last 3 innings, and the Tigers will look to give him some run support here as we head to the bottom of the 6th. John Tucker to lead off here in the 6th.
Man, that's your pitch right there.
Yeah, if you're John Tucker and you're a first pitch swinger, that hung out over the plate nicely. He'd already made up his mind. And that is a tremendous defensive play from Morrell as the ball is hit right back at him. No time to react. And he gets the glove on the ball and then throws from the seat of his pants as the ball goes around the horn.
Ricochets off his chest and into the glove. That's one of the most painful outs you'll get.
Yeah, if you're John Tucker, and if you're the Tigers in general, you got to feel a bit hard done by, just unlucky. That's perfect contact going right back up the middle, and you end up sitting back in the dugout. Same with Rafe Shamet in the last inning, made really solid contact out into left field. Too playable for Strelsick. Tigers offensively haven't been bad. It's the first inning that's really haunting them here. Just like that word that I just tried to get out.
See if Morrison can start something once again for him, though.
This one is lofted out into deep right field, but once again playable.
I mean, what do you have to do for a hit, you know? That's great contact. You're almost at the warning track. Right at a fielder. Just some days, man.
Yeah, we saw in the first inning it was a ton of black squares being filled in on the score sheet for TOU, but it was also just good hitting and finding the holes. And that's what the Tigers haven't been able to do since that first inning. They've been making plenty of contact against Morrell. And here's one that will find a gap, as Jake Martin is just tremendously hot at the plate. And he's in there easily at first with yet another single. He's 3 for 4 today, went 3 for 5 yesterday with 3 RBI.
And that swing's not trying to do too much. That's just a solid swing, make some contact, get yourself on base. Put yourself in a position where Shamet has a chance to bring somebody in with a big one. Just give yourself chances, man. That's all you can hope for.
Yeah, Shamet, the one that went right to the left fielder, finally got him out. He also walked and had a double so far in this one. And in the NCAA tournament, men's basketball, Kentucky survives a little bit of a scare from Wofford, 62-56 final. So your bracket is safe if it hasn't already been decimated. I know mine has.
You speak for almost all of us.
And around the SCAC as well, Centenary has gone from a 5-5 game to blowing it wide open. They're ahead 11-5 against Dallas. And the Southwestern victory over Austin College went final as well, 14-3.
Catcher called for the pitch out there. Not entirely sure why.
Yeah, with the big deficit, be a real surprise with 2 outs to see the runner going. Like it may have been another call there. Don't know if there's a sign behind the shaking of the glove.
Could be encouraging, could be throw this one out.
This time he sets up inside, does Wilson. Shamet on the 2-2 count, and he's got a hold of this one. We'll see if he's got under it. Going back is the center fielder, and the play is going to be made. Another solid contact that results in an out for Trinity. Just doesn't appear to be their day at the plate. It'll be The Bulldogs due up here in the top of the 6th, leading by 7. Thacker's still out there working on the mound for the Tigers. And that's a characteristic first pitch of the last 3 innings he's thrown into the dirt. But the last 3 innings he's also been extremely effective. Only facing 2 batters over the minimum and recording 5 strikeouts.
Again, one of those guys you mentioned, ton of potential. A guy that just needs some game time. This one into left, foul territory. Chamette's not going to get there.
He has starting position too far right to give him a chance on that ball. And if Chamette's not going to make the play, I have confidence that nobody at the Division III level is going to make the play. Goes for a strike as the foul ball. So Varner stands in. He's 0 for 3. Reached on a walk in the first and came around to score. And I think he made contact with that one, and he's going to be thrown out. It was a weird play in and around the plate.
See if we can see it here.
Just out of shot. Must have made contact.
Either that or he went around in a pitch in the dirt.
By the way, a quick bunt laid down here. And it goes into foul territory. Cardoni felt he could maybe catch Bender on his heels there at third base.
Gonna take a look at this one again. Looks like he just went around on strike 3. Which that's a tight call by the home plate umpire, but he was pretty confident in it.
Thacker's delivery is sent out into left field. And once again, Chamette not having to move. Is able to bring that one in with ease, and there's 2 down here in the top of the 7th.
All of a sudden, batter's flying by.
The second game of the doubleheader slated to start at 5 o'clock originally. After the crawl of the first inning, felt like it might start tomorrow. But with Thacker on the mound, it's definitely picked up speed.
Thacker has quietly run his pitch count up pretty high, though. Up to 83 now.
This one's popped up. Could be playable here in foul territory. And the first base coach gets out of the way, and Caraway brings it in. So another quick inning for Argent Thacker on the mound as he continues to build confidence. Tigers will hope to find some of their confidence at the plate when we come back for the bottom of the 6th inning. Nathaniel Preet, one of 4 changes to the Tiger batting order. As we go through it, we will let you know about him. Now it's Montreza, who's come in for Logan Morrison at the top of the order, playing second base. Nathaniel Preet at bat, and Peterson and Hessler in the 8 and 9 holes. So maybe just looking to get some of your big guys rest for game 2 of this doubleheader. We anticipate Natoli will be on the mound as Preet's unable to beat that one out. And there's quickly one down here in the bottom of the 7th.
Decent swing, was looking fastball, got breaking ball, ground ball out. That's just about as textbook as it gets for Merle.
Goodrich still in. He's just DHing. We'll probably see him behind the plate in the nightcap. He's first pitch swinging here and shot that one foul down the line. 0 for 3 so far today as the DH. Went 1 for 4 yesterday with big home run. The 7th inning is the furthest we've seen Dylan Morrell go into a game. Mentioned that as a complete game earlier on. As this one's going to be dropped in front of the left fielder, and Goodrich has his first hit of this afternoon.
It's about time.
Felt like he was making some solid contact. Back in the 3rd, flew out to Strelsick out in left field. And here's Caraway, who's reached base all 3 times.
Another swap.
It won't be Caraway. It looks like he's going to be replaced.
No, it looks like it's going to be number 35, Seth Jones, coming in to run. So that'll be the end of Goodrich's night. Or excuse me, the end of his afternoon. Be back in the night game almost certainly. A lot of shuffling around going on for Trinity right now. Getting some young guys experience, a lot like Thacker has been benefiting from tonight.
Caraway still stands in. Seth Jones now over at first. Caraway's got 2 walks and a single. Come into the lineup. Didn't play yesterday. He's come in as a first baseman with Tucker going behind the plate. And he's done well for himself here. He's even started a fashion trend with the buttons undone.
Merle now over the century mark with pitches. So that makes it 2 starters in a row that have gone 100 pitches deep.
This one is shot out into center field, and Caraway's perfect day at the plate comes to an end here in the 7th. Dallas Bender, believe, is still in the game. Yes, he is. Can't be certain anymore the amount of changes that have been made. And that is a rope, but it's right at
Unbelievable.
Jimenez, the shortstop. And the Tigers' bad luck continues at the plate. They'll head to the top of the 8th, where the Bulldogs will come up and look to extend what is already a 7-run lead here in San Antonio. So Cullen Motzinger will
Takes
not
one on
get
the hip.
his 5th hit of the game. He'll get hit instead. As Thacker, who's been very effective, his first pitch is always just uncharacteristically poor to start an inning.
I believe that's the third first pitch hit batter we've seen this game. That is ridiculous.
Just a strange trend going across both teams as well. Chad Curtis now with a runner on first. Senior first baseman has gone 1 for 2 today.
That's a better pitch. Probably a better result.
Too slow for a chance to turn 2. But Thacker gets the first out here in the 8th.
I like that pitch, though. Just low with a little bit of sink. That's what throws the hitter off from getting that line drive. Instead, you catch it just on the underside of the bat. Blade Runner will step in now. He's got an interesting toe tap. He kind of digs that front foot in. I imagine if he landed a little bit more on just the plate of the front foot, right behind the toes, instead of on the toe point, I think he'd probably be a little bit more stable. Possibly have the opportunity to turn his hips through a little bit easier, maybe get a little bit more power. Might allow him to pull the trigger a little bit quicker on pitches. Something possibly to work on in the future. Could just be a comfortability thing, though, and you don't ever want to change a swing just for the sake of changing it.
And a really good backhanded stab, and what a play by Jack Wisniewski to beat the extremely quick Blade Strelsick, who was a bit slow getting out of the box, but once he gets to full speed, he is rapid on the base path. And that is a bang-bang play if I've seen one. This one goes in favor of the home team, but what a tremendous defensive effort. And it wasn't Wisniewski, it was Peterson at short, substitute. Apologize. We've grown accustomed to the Tigers number 2 playing between second and third. That's one way to make an introduction if you're Peterson coming in as the shortstop. We'll see him up to the plate first next for the Tigers in the 9th, or in the 8th, excuse me. That one sent foul, and it levels the count at 2-2. Two outs, the runner on second. And Arjun Thacker's delivery.
Great job framing there by Brian Hessler, the substitute, who came in between innings.
MJ Metz also introduced at third base. Shamet, Martin, and Caraway, the only 3 that have stayed in, and the count now runs full for Arjun Thacker with 2 outs. And the payoff pitch, and the umpire likes that outside corner. Cameron Wilson certainly disagreed, but Arjun Thacker gets his 6th strikeout of the afternoon, and we head to the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Peterson due up after a tremendous defensive play in the top half of the inning. We'll be right back with you on the Tiger Network. Scott Peterson leads off the Tigers here in the bottom of the 8th. San Rafael, California native. And similarly to what we saw yesterday, Morel is still out there despite being over 100 pitches. Wouldn't be surprised if head coach Greg Burnett tries to get him to go the distance. Save basically the entirety of the bullpen for game 3 here coming up after the conclusion of this one. As Peterson takes a strike there. If the result holds, this will be the Tigers' first defeat in conference, and it will snap a 10-game winning streak they gained yesterday, but Scott Peterson looks to perhaps start a rally here in the bottom of the 8th.
Excellent start to his career.
I mean, you can't ask for much more. He's come in defensively. He's made the play of the game. And he comes in and singles right up the middle to start a potential rally here in the bottom of the 8th. So
it's one way to get your first at bat going of your career.
Give Jack Wisniewski something to think about, maybe. And this is not the normal Tigers shortstop. This is Tigers number 23, Brian Hessler. Came in as a sub for John Tucker, the catcher. And on deck is another new introduction, Michael Montresa.
Also Hessler's first at bat of his career.
See if he can have similar fortune to Scott Peterson.
Tough act to follow.
And this one
Not
is
bad.
sent out into left field, right at the left fielder, which has been a common theme. Strelsick has been busy, no doubt. But he hasn't had to move much to bring in some of these fly balls off Tiger bats. Solid contact made by Hessler in his first collegiate at bat. And Michael Montresa comes up for his second collegiate at bat. So the Tiger first year digs in, now hitting at the top of the order for the home team. He's got a runner on first and one gone here in the bottom of the 8th. Tigers trail by 7. If you're joining us late, there's a 7-run nightmarish first inning for the Tigers when the Bulldogs hit around, knocked out starter Ian Hushin. And it's been fairly even since, I would say, but the damage was done in the first. Arjun Thacker's come in, first-year pitcher for the Tigers, and been extremely effective, getting us from inning 2 to where we are currently, with only giving up 3 runs, one of which was accounted to him. Montresa wearing the glasses alongside the helmet. And he swung through that one. Good movement on the off-speed pitch from Morel.
He's done a good job with the color coding. If he really wants to get in on the Tiger fashion, though, he's going to have to undo some buttons.
Taking inspiration from Reggie Jackson, Eric Gagne, other bespeckled MLB players that come to mind. First one that always comes to my mind is Gagne because of the computer game Backyard Baseball. And there's a throwback for you. As Montresa hits that one right at the third baseman, a chance to turn two, and he beats it out. Does well to avoid getting doubled up, and hits into a fielder's choice.
He's got some wheels on him. Watch this. This is a quick transition down the line. He is moving.
Speaking of Backyard Baseball, is that Pablo Sanchez? Is that Pete Wheeler? These guys with the highest speed in the game.
Oh, you're taking me back. That'll be the end of Merle's night.
He's done a terrific job here. He's had terrific run support as well, giving up the 4 runs in 7 2/3 innings worth of work. We'll be right back with you to see who comes on in relief for the Bulldogs. So a chance for Jake Martin to continue what's been a tremendous series at the plate. He's the first one to get a look at freshman pitcher Riley Bax. Bax has a 5.14 ERA. He's started 4 games. It's only his second relief appearance. He's only gone 14 innings. Getting a look at
Like a
some
lot of
his
lefties.
statistics.
Got a cross-body delivery. He'll throw you a fastball, sometimes an occasional kind of a slidery breaking ball.
And gets up on the hands of Martin. Martin 3 for 4 today. 3 for 5 yesterday with a home run. Martin not one of the guys that wears any type of shin protection, and he felt it there. As this one is shot over to third base. It's going to be 3 for 5 again for Martin today. And that will end the bottom of the 8th. So first career hit for Peterson, and the Tigers will have one more chance coming up in the 9th inning. First, it's going to be the Bulldogs with a 7-run lead coming up to bat. Brian Cardone comes on here in the 9th inning, looking to keep the lead where it is, give the Tigers one last chance in the bottom of the inning. Tigers will, of course, get another opportunity. No time to dwell on the defeat here if it ends this way. Doubleheader, the nightcap coming up shortly after the conclusion of this one.
We'll both be back for that one as well, so if you're enjoying the broadcast so far, some free baseball for you.
Yeah, we thank you for spending your Saturday here with us on the Tiger Network. As that one comes in inside and low for Cardone, who's listed as an infielder on the roster. He's played some at first, some at third, and he's now appeared in 6 games as a pitcher. Boasted a stellar mustache in every appearance.
It is a thing of beauty.
I certainly cannot.
It's just so much work. Keep it groomed like that. Got to make sure the edges are right. Otherwise it throws off your mechanics, you know?
The aerodynamics of the mustache come into play when Cardone takes them out.
It's an intimidation thing too, you know? Got to keep that in mind. Look at that stare.
There's the 2-2 pitch. And he gets Jimenez, and the tag just missed. But the throw down to first did not. So strikeout for Cardone to start.
Yeah, he's got a really nice breaker, actually. Big issue for him seems to be fastball command. As long as he's locating the fastball in the zone, that breaker has enough snap to it that doesn't matter too much at this level if he's locating. Just have to give them something else to think about as well. Otherwise, they can sit on it, and that's when the walks start to pile up.
So 2 different coaching philosophies on display here. We've seen it with pitchers already, and the tendency to leave them in past certain, generally acceptable number of pitches. He's also left all his starters in here, as the Tigers have opted to give their guys a bit of rest heading into the night game. Interesting to see that dynamic. Personally, I'm very excited for the night game. We've got plenty of pitching left on both sides, and the series is at stake. I think the Tigers will feel like they've done pretty well with the exception of the first inning and the exception of, the starting pitching not there today. But with Natoli going later on, they'll feel they've got every opportunity to take the series like they've done throughout this season. They've won every series they've played.
Yeah, one thing that Natoli will give you every time is a chance. That's why he has 5 wins on the season, leading the Tigers.
Ranked quite high nationally as well, I believe. He's going into the week. Tied with about 47 other pitchers for place in the top 10 in wins. Two and two count once again for Cardone, this time facing Cologne. Cardone and Cologne, they should open a pizza shop down on St. Mary's.
I'd go.
Be tough business just down the street from Pizza Classics, the local favorite.
Yeah, but
with a
there's
name like
always,
that, it's got to be authentic, doesn't it?
And there's always enough pizza demand to go around. Never too much pizza. Especially not when you're next to a college.
Count runs full now for Cologne against Cardone. And the payoff pitch is in there for strike 3. And again, Cologne cannot believe it, but I think this one actually does catch the inside corner of the plate as it has a bit of tailing action. Maybe I'm generous in saying that, but the umpire agrees.
He likes that inside corner to lefties. So.
And the chance for Cardone to come in and strike out the side here. He's up against Varner, who is 1 for 4 on the day. No, he's 0 for 4, excuse me. 1 for 4 yesterday.
Cardone looks really good right now. He's been able to keep his upper half in sync with his lower half. That's sometimes a bit of an issue for him.
We get it. You like the mustache. He's 1 out away from giving the Tigers one last opportunity in the bottom of the 9th.
Can't ask anything more of your reliever.
This one is popped up and should be playable for the in-rushing outfielder. And it just drops in front of Nathaniel Preet. Bit of miscommunication there. I thought it could have been Jake Martin's ball. But if the center fielder's calling him off, he's going to leave it.
Yeah, I think it should have been Jake Martin's ball. You can see him stutter a couple of times as it seems somebody was calling him off. And
yeah, the pump fake
it
almost
happens.
in disgust. He felt like should have gone differently. Due up for the Tigers in the bottom of the 9th. Rafe Shermet to lead off. And Nathaniel Preet, Seth Jones to follow. So you got one guy, you know what you're going to get from him, and two guys you don't.
Makes it a little bit interesting. Throw some wild cards in there.
Cardone gets a foul there to level the count at 1-1.
That was a nice pitch up at the top of the zone. And after that, I'd be coming back with curveball down low. I don't know if he will, but it's there for him if he wants it.
Maybe Cardone's buddy Preet in center field wants to give him another chance to strike out the side. And he's going to have to get the next guy as he comes inside on Gardoni and hits him. So there's 2 on now. And Tyler Cawley poses a threat here at the plate.
Well, you want to test yourself. This is the guy to do it against.
Cawley on the day scored a couple of runs, had a single in the first, was hit by a pitch in the second, struck out in the third and in the fifth, and fouled out in the 7th. Cardone gives him the eyes here. The count's at 2-0 against the TLU slugger. Hessler unable to hold it, but is in there for a strike.
You know it's nasty when it's a strike and your catcher can't even get a glove to it. Get the lean in once again as Cardone now has 22 pitches to his arm.
And this one is shot down the line. And what went from a extremely good inning for Cardone has turned a bit sour here as a run comes around to score off of the bat of Tyler Cawley.
I mean, that's a good pitch. Maybe a little bit too predictable. Going back to back on the breaking ball, but hard to fault him too much there. Mostly just credit to Cawley.
So second, third, and 2 outs. The lead pushed back out to 8. As Motsinger swings through that one. He's 4 for 4. Was also hit by a pitch, so he's reached all 5 times. Cardone will need to end that streak in order to get out of the inning here. And he's done well to get out in front, 0-2. Monsinger's turned it around. Yesterday he went 0 for 3 with a walk. And today he's been excellent at the plate.
Didn't go to the breaking ball on an earlier bat, should go here.
And he does, and Monsinger does well just to stay alive. So he'll be the 0-2 pitch here, looking to send it to the bottom of the 9th inning. Cardone comes set, and that was too far outside for even our umpire's liking here. Seen him be generous with that outside corner. That would have raised quite a few eyebrows if he was that generous.
Yeah, that would have been an Angel Hernandez call.
Fouled back once again. Monsinger battling to stay perfect at the plate here, if nothing else. Cardone checks the runner at third, comes set, and the pitch comes in low. When Cardone had those first 2 strikeouts, he was working quickly. And since the runners have gotten the board, he's really slowed the pace down. Number 29's delivery is going to be fielded by himself, and he's on his way over to tag first. And the Bulldogs are retired here in the 9th. We'll get Trinity's last attempt to get back into this one. They're down 8 against TLU here on the Tiger Network. And it's going to take a mammoth effort here in the bottom of the 9th for the Tigers, down 8. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. We've already seen them achieve 2 walk-off wins this season and 3 losses where it was extremely close. 1-run game, winning run up to the bat, and they've fallen just short. If they're going to repeat either of those feats, it's going to take quite something. An outburst of offense not dissimilar to the first inning for TLU. And Chemet's made solid contact 3 times today, and he's been retired on all 3 of those.
I mean, come on. Just at a certain point, it's like somebody's got to find grass.
It's going to be Nathaniel Preet up to bat now. As the situation gets more and more desperate. The San Antonio native. And he gets one up the middle. Potentially the start of something here for the home team.
Good solid piece of hitting. Just dink it back up the middle. He stays on this one really well.
So Seth Jones has come in for Michael Goodrich as the DH. Albuquerque native. He's hitting .250 in limited appearances so far this season.
Has also posted some excellent flowing locks of hair.
If nothing else, he does add that to the Tiger roster.
I mean, somebody's got to have a mane. That's just baseball rules.
That one misses well outside for the first-year pitcher, Riley Bax. And that's an excellent pitch there. Jones taking a real hack at it. Came up empty.
Yeah, he was thinking parking lot with that swing.
That one doesn't miss by much. The count runs to 3-1 for Junior, listed as a first baseman on the roster. Seen some time there. And he takes a 5-pitch walk. So 2 on, the makings of perhaps something here in the bottom of the 9th for the Tigers.
At the very least, trying to make it respectable. Riley Bax actually has an issue that a lot of left-handed pitchers face, especially those with a cross-body delivery, is that when they're facing a right-handed batter and there's nobody in that left-handed batter's box, they can tend to get a little bit loose and miss towards the arm side. You've seen him a couple of times in that at bat and a couple of times throughout his work, missing up near where the shoulders would be, or close to where the shoulders would be of a left-handed batter. Against Caraway, though, he might be a little bit tighter. And that's a good start to his at-bat.
Caraway 2 for 3. No, 1 for 2 with 2 walks. He's reached 3 out of the 4 times he's come to the plate. Fouled straight back. He's quickly down in the count 0-2.
You see how much better that fastball looks, though, Ryan?
Absolutely. It's all about the location, changing the eye level there, going a bit higher. Something Caraway probably didn't expect when he saw the fastball coming. Another one fouled back. So Caraway down in the count 0-2. Riley Bax checks the runner. And he comes and delivers too high.
Probably not a bad time for a breaker, since you've now got that diagonal working, top left to bottom right. There it is.
Chance to turn
Ooh.
2, and it's going to be booted that time by, looks like a substitute, number 1. Work on that for you.
Looks like Mario DeLeon.
DeLeon's first contribution is to allow the Tigers to load the bases. And MJ Metz, we haven't seen for a couple of games. First year third baseman, was pretty consistent starter at the start of the season. Dallas Bender's worked his way into the lineup. But he's a guy with tons of potential for this Tiger team. And Chance here with really the pressure off. And the deficit's still 8. He's cranked a couple of home runs so far in his freshman campaign. Could add a spark of excitement with another one here.
Yeah, that would do it.
You know, once that can of hope is opened, you never know what could unfold the Tigers here at the plate, especially for a team that's as offensively capable as this one. Metz floats that one out, and the tagging runner will add to Metz's RBI count on the sac fly. So the Tigers draw the lead to 7 now.
Doesn't get you much except making it look not quite so bad on the final. Just swung under that one.
2 outs here. Peterson, who grabbed a single up the middle in his only collegiate at bat earlier on in this game. Another one would just cap off a tremendous debut for the Tigers number 5. He's already done extremely well for himself. As he makes solid contact here, he lifts this one out into left center. It looks like it's going to be playable. And that one ends the game as it's brought in with ease by Motzinger. So a big first run propels the Bulldogs to their first conference win. That's the first defeat in the SCAC for the Tigers. It's a 12-4 final score. We'll be right back with you for game 2 of the doubleheader, slated to kick off at first pitch slated at 5:25 here on the Tiger Network. We hope you'll join us. Thank you for spending your afternoon here with us for game 1 of the doubleheader. We'll see you shortly.